to get started. I just love that song. Someone on this journey one time said, Delia, welcome, 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 everyone. This is one of the just the great sessions of these journeys. We're on kindness and gratitude, and Edmund is our guest speaker today. I'm trying to close out of this. Wait one second. It's always a great session. I will introduce him in a minute, but let's just stay right here in the present, because today is going to be a very serious day. We are at the end of our spiritual wellness journey, aligning our mind, body, and spirit in purpose. The 7 intentions. We learned the 3 understandings and the 7 intentions, and today is kindness and gratitude and healing. We knew that today was going to be, we knew that this whole journey was going to be a lot about healing, finding purpose. There was losing weight, but really healing. A lot of people on this call, our family, our loved ones, we're all in need of healing. And happiness, when you're in a joyous place, that is healing. It is the definition. And we have talked about how all these things coincide. So today is a serious one. I'm already tearing up already. I already have my tissues here, because when Evan talks about how he experiences gratitude and kindness, it always gets me. But we're going to just start here in the to remember. I'm encouraging you guys, because we only have a few weeks left, or 1 week, really. And I want to encourage you that today is the day. It's always the day in the moment to be who it is you see yourself, who you want to be. That is not to put off to tomorrow anymore. It is not assuming that you've got an infinite amount of time. Life is finite. As surely as you're born, you will die. So what we do right now is all that matters. So we've been going through this wellness journey. We've been talking about getting healthy. We've been talking about finding what's important to us and our purpose, and having clarity and making that next step. Today is the day to do it. So I'm going to be reading you some things. I'm going to talk to you about kindness and gratitude in this higher consciousness, spiritual sense we're talking about. Then Evan's going to tell his story and how he lives his life. And you will see what we're focusing on today is that second understanding, that law of attraction. What you give, you receive. So you have to put these spiritual tools in place now. So when you want healing in your life, you have to also be giving healing, giving blessings, giving kindness and gratitude. Kindness and gratitude, for all the things that we're saying, we're all connected in this fabric of spirit. The method, like say that's the railroad tracks, right? But the method is the railroad, is that you're riding on this way, right? The way, you got to get on the gratitude and kindness bus or train. That is the delivery mechanism of your blessings and goodness. And you're really going to see it strongly with Evan's story today. The concept of kindness and gratitude is the giving and receiving, the law of attraction. What you put out, if you want healing, you have to be gracious and kind to give healing. If you want your full wellness of alignment and to not be bothered, to not be the victim to any circumstance, even if it's physically in your body, whether it's emotionally or physical, we're talking about fear. We're talking about getting rid of pain or learning how to overcome pain. Better yet, how to use pain for our own becoming, because it is a fact of life. So we're not a baby anymore. We're not acting like my story's worse than yours. We're not just because I was abused or I was in a car accident or my parents treated me or my man, my woman did. None of that. We know how to now, and we need to be activating these things. So I'm gonna read you a few things. And kindness and gratitude is how it is, along with meditation, it is one of the most efficacious tool in your spiritual toolbox to heal your body, just for anything you want. You may be like, how is this going to make my boss treat me better? How is this going to increase my paycheck? I'm going to tell you again, so don't forget. Please have your journals, your water, take some notes. How the spiritual technology works is when you open yourself up, you're already prepared, and it's a given that your purpose in life is to be an extension of God, to experience life so God can have infinite ways of experiencing himself. We are thoughts in the mind of God. So our whole expression of our life is about happiness. That's what he wants, happiness and love. When you're not receiving it, it's because there's a block that you have, not that God has put there, because we have free will. So what we're doing is learning how to remove those blockages, and there's 7 intentions. When you understand how the world works and you use these 7 intentions, it releases all of those so you can see clearer. Your mind is clear. You're more forgiving and loving. And you put these practices into place every time you come up against a problem, a sorrow. And it works. It takes time, which is an illusion, but it takes a distance for it to be created. We want miracles. We want microwave results. It takes patience. Patience is a virtue. So you're becoming virtuous. You are animating your virtues instead of talking about, yeah, I'm loving and I'm kind and I'm not a victim and I'm not fearful. You become that which you talk about. So you don't have to tell anybody that, because they see it, because they see how calm and cool and loving you are in any given situation, how compassionate, how your heart opens up and rings out. People know you by what you do and what you say. So when the more and more, and that's why every heartache and every problem is a lesson for our growth. It's not for shame or guilt, because we all go through things. So all of these things that are happening in our lives now are for our growth, and it's time for you to grow. It's time for you to stop playing around and talking about it and be about it. And Evan, if he can do it, that's why this is the best session, because he's a living, walking example. Now, I also have to start it's 1:11. I just love it when synchronicities. We're going to talk about what synchronicities y'all have. So I have a friend, one of our fellow Journey members, you guys, had a heart attack last night. I already knew this was going to be a touching session. Hold up. So healing. What do we do about healing? This is why this is an important session, because we're going to be sending her healing and Evan healing, but there's no reason to wait. You don't know if a heart attack is going to happen tonight. What would you do with your life if you only had a year to live, or 6 months or 6 days? Who can know? It's disingenuous to start to be in this present moment and act like you have infinite time to be who you want to be. You can have a heart attack. One of our fellow journeyers had a heart attack. Now, I didn't know until this morning. She's also my line sister. And we got on a prayer call this morning. Now, again, my son's in the hospital. So life, these definitions, these things are reminders. There's lessons, and there's a way to heal. And the way to heal through them is through kindness and gratitude. Gratitude for having this person. So now that I know this, we put all of our power together. And at the end of that call, I said, do something kind for someone today. Because I know, and now you know, use this in your life for your own healing. If I'm praying for my line sister, who's who's healing, who's in need of healing, she's in need of healing energy. So use these practices now to do something kind to someone else, to meditate. So I can't just say, Lord, heal her. I mean, I could, but the power behind what we're doing now is when we get still and we connect with the essence of God and love, that fabric of all that is, and we know that what we put out, we get back. Okay, that's the giving and receiving. So I'm saying, if we want to do something good to heal her, then do something kind for someone else, because what you put out, it removes the barriers and it has you open to receiving, and everyone who you are blessing also gets to receive that. I know, I'm not just telling you this, I know it because it is true. So 2 weeks ago, we were doing this, and Evan had emergency room, surgery. They said he was going to be in there for 8 weeks. They're ready to release him now. Because what did we do? We believed. We were in the believing spirit. Every time that something negative came, I was like, Evan, you're not going to be in here for 8 weeks. We're not even claiming. We're the bottleneck now. We just have to get him a bed at home. He has improved so much. But I'm going to tell y'all, I had crystals in his room. I was meditating over him. I did all of it. And I'm telling you, it works. So I should just get to Evan now. But I have some things to read to you guys. I want you to start now. You have to start now. This is life. It is important and it's current and it's present. There may not be a tomorrow. So I really want that to be your assignment right now. What if you had a heart attack? You don't know, an aneurysm, got hit by a car. Evan was in a car accident. You don't know what your tomorrow's going to be like. They were coming to spend the whole summer with me, and they got in a car accident on the way. And then he spent the next 3 months in the hospital. So today is the day. Today is the day, people. This is accountability. This is the real deal. If you don't see these examples, or what my old school Christian folk call testimonials, however you look at it, it is the truth. And it is time to start applying it to your life, because you don't know how long you're going to live. So what we're doing here is we do not use the weapons of the world. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, we use divine weapons of God's power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take it captive in every thought and make it obedient to Christ. That's scripture. I usually don't do that. 2 Corinthians 10:4 and 5, I think. That is the essence of the spiritual technology we're talking about. We are using these divine weapons, these intentions. We're taking our thoughts, which are units of energy. So the more negative you think, the more negative you attract to you. And when you focus on we take every thought and make it captive and obedient to Christ. We make it obedient to this. We say we want to be loving people. We don't want to be loving people. Be the loving person that you are. We're letting all that stuff flow away. Now, today, there's no reason why not to. So what if you only had 1 year or 1 month to live? That's your assignment this week. Live like that. Journal about that. What does that look like? It's inappropriate. It's disingenuous to act like you have an infinite amount of time on this earth. It's not true. Stop living like it's true. Live in the present moment and do what needs to be done. Become who it is you are, period. Now is the time. Today is the day. It's disingenuous to keep doing that. When you become aware, it's your job to do what you need to do. It's your responsibility. You're aware now. I'm sorry. This is a wake up. This is an awakening. This is an enlightenment. This is the path to your greatest, best good, period. Today's the day. Stop playing. Okay. That was my introduction. I'm going to say that life is predictable and unpredictable, right? We're dealing in dualities. So you can predict that if you have certain behaviors and you're still not happy, that you're going to continue to be unhappy. You can predict that. So why is it unpredictable when a negative outcome happens, when we sort of already knew we weren't operating in the light, that we knew that if we were operating from a negative or a fearful perspective, we draw more fear to us and more fearful things will happen. So is that unpredictable? Is that unpredictable? It's not. It's actually predictable. So I want you guys to think about that. We create the future in the present. You always hear me say that. Today is what matters. If you want a future of abundance and you want to create it today, in your mindset, in your body, in your giving. Today is the day. At the end of this, I do want to hear about any synchronicities or miracles that have happened to you that you can know and see. I mean, I just told you about what's going on with Evan, and to us, that's so much. I don't think it's a mistake that my line sister, that a fellow journeyer who signed up for this. So for this whole thing has gone through this so we can share in this story and be an example, a beacon, a light to remind us that life goes up and down and tomorrow is not promised. So today is the day. Today is the day, y'all. If you are not practicing your virtues and intentions, then who are you? What are you doing? Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be complete and lacking nothing. These trials are here not as punishment. They are learnings. All things are lessons to be learned. If you take them in a negative way all the time, it will bury you. When you remember, we're in a unity framework, God, we're using our spiritual tools for this higher power to align with our body in our current circumstance. When you remember that, you know, this too shall pass. It is a lesson to be learned, to always come back to your tools, to then when you're out of place, go meditate, go do this, be grateful, be kind to someone. And the last story I'm gonna leave you with before I turn this over to our speaker today is another story. So I say this is a spiritual journey, a spiritual remarkable wellness, which is your body, mind, and spirit, but we go from a different direction. We're not just counting calories, and doing the pedantic things that people in the world do. We have divine weapons to demolish strongholds. That's what we're doing. We're using our divine tools in this healing. Now, we're going to stop talking about it. Don't say, I don't want to hear that stuff. I'm talking about the real world. Well, then we're not on the same plane, because we are connecting up here in the spiritual where we're all one. And if you're not connecting, that's okay. But one day it's going to bring with you. It all is promised. It's just how long you want to take. We said it last week from A Course in Miracles. It is not up to you what you will learn. It is only your choice whether it will be through pain or through joy. Somebody ought to write that down. I felt like my daddy. Okay, so I have one last story. Here's the story. There was should I tell the story or should I tell the Bible story? So when I say I'm not like, this is not a religiosity type thing. You guys already know this. This is the spiritual thing, which is everything. This is the guy, the all, religion is just one thing here. We're talking about the all, everything. But I have been led back. There's wisdom our whole life. Everything that brought us to where we are matters. And so you've heard me say there's some things, some scriptures, some whatever, some wisdoms that have been popping in my head today. And so I'm just sharing them. So this one's sort of a story. It's two stories in one. It's a biblical story. So my husband and I were going to the hospital to see Evan yesterday, and we got to the light. We took the exit from the highway, and we were at the light, and there was a man sitting there who sort of looked fine to me, y'all. I was trying not to judge. He was maybe in his early 30s, white man. He wasn't skinny or thin. He looked pretty robust, and he had the sign, hungry, need money, whatever. And I was just really tired and was just like about to just keep going by. Normally, if I see someone in need, if I got money or change, it is theirs. And so I just whatever. And so I go in my wallet. The light just stopped, so I didn't have an excuse anymore. Like, it wasn't like, oh, traffic's bad or it's raining. Like, there was really no reason. We were just sitting there, and this man next to our car with a sign like, homeless, help me. And it's like, I can't ignore that, right? And nor should I. But I was really, something in me was trying to. So I was like, what do I got? I had a $5. I gave it to my husband. He goes out the window, gives it to the guy. And we roll up the window. I said, see, that was Jesus. I almost rolled by this man, and that was Jesus right there. That was God. That was the Spirit. That was something happening. And I in my own selfishness, was about to ignore him. Like I literally was trying to be like, no, 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 no. But it didn't work. It didn't work because we're doing the work. We're doing the work. So I couldn't remember the story. So I called my dad, like, what? Where is it in the Bible? What's that story or whatever? And he gave me a couple of places. The one that's most closest to, and there's many stories about how God was there and we didn't see him, or we overlooked him, the boat, the plane, the helicopter that you didn't take, and all the help that's delivered, but we don't see it. But it wasn't, I was like, what is it? What is it? So I was led to this one, and I'm not going to read this, but it is basically the goat and the sheep sort of parable. Where thank you, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, you invited me in. When I needed clothes, you clothed me. When I was sick, you looked after me. When I was in prison, you came to visit me. Whatever you do for the least of them, you do for me. That's God. So when you're in this godly place of kindness and gratitude, whatever you do for the least of them, you're in the right place. It's like a meditation. It's like, boom, do that all day long. So I shouldn't, why am I like trying not to see the bad girl on the street? I should be looking for them. I was convicted. Yeah, and so I had to call my dad to get some street. He looked up a couple. He had the one of the king and the somebody. That wasn't it. It was this one. This is in Matthew. And I was like, that's it. And then it said, so the other group that was going, that hadn't been kind or whatever. And he was like, okay, you're not going to. They were like, well, when wasn't I kind to you? Well, when you're not kind to other people, then you're not being kind to me. God, all that is, because the only reason I want you here on this earth is for your happiness, and that you be a vessel, a channel of grace for the happiness of other people. And if you're not doing that, you do for them, you do it to me. If you don't do it for them, if you ignore them, you're ignoring me. And I couldn't, it just hit me when I gave it, I was like, oh, that was Jesus. That was like God right there. And I almost passed him by. And it all came together. So we were in Evans Hospital yesterday, sort of talking about that when I was finding that. So that's what I have for you today. So it's juicy and rich here, y'all. If you're not transforming now, if you're not doing these intentions, if you're not, get on that superhighway of kindness and gratitude, I promise you it will change your life intentionally. And then help other people. And sometimes other people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Sometimes people want to sit in their pain. And what I'm explaining to you is you don't have to, because we all have the same problems. It could be a heart attack tomorrow. It could be a car accident. It could be an infection. It could be you're just learning stuff that happened before, but it does not have to affect your countenance. We're human. We cry. We get emotional. But now we have the spiritual tools that say, oh, why am I taking this so hard? I know, because I love that person, or I love me, and I don't want to have this ache, this disease, this hurt. And okay, let me meditate into it. Let me do something kind for someone else, so that healing will come back to me 10, 100, 1,000-fold, 7 times 7 times 7 gazillion. Let me do that. That's the real work, because we're using divine tools, y'all. Today is the day. Today's the day. I'm done. I'm done. I think we're going to let Evan talk, and then we're just going to open it up for questions, comments. I want to hear what's going on. We finished the 10 days. I know there's been transformation out there. I know I have. I mean, I just can't wait to hear, because I already know. So our guest speaker is Evan Campbell. Evan Campbell turned 26 years old on Thursday. 11 years ago, he was in a tragic car accident. 11 years ago on Juneteenth. He was in a tragic car accident. He and my daughter, she was driving, he was in the passenger seat, and rollover accident. Roof came down. It was Jeep, crushed his C4, C5, which left him paralyzed. The higher the spinal injury, the higher the paralysis. So he is considered, I believe, an incomplete quadriplegic, not a complete quadriplegic, only because there are some movements. He can move his hands, so many people, his arms, so many people think He's not quadriplegic, but he can't, his hands sort of stay like this. He can't move his digits. That is quadriplegia. So he will talk more. He completed high school on time. He went all throughout the year and got tutors and whatever needed to catch up. He went to Wright State. He completed 4 years getting his undergrad in psychology and education. Something he'll tell you when I'm wrong. I'm a bad mama sometimes. And then he is finishing up his master's in digital instruction and design, so online curriculums. He's finishing that up now. Fortunately, see how good God is. He's in between quarters and semesters. So this time in the hospital, although he's not, excited to be there, it's not actually interfering with his long range plans. Who could have timed that? Who could have timed that? Not us. So he is finishing up his master's. He got a house a couple of years ago. He has roommates. He lives independently with the help of nurses that come in overnight, the most maybe dangerous time of the day, surprisingly for him. And then in the day, he's got roommates and they're on board to be in his house, to be a part of his team. He has great friends. He has a great spirit. And he is in the hospital now as he speaks to us because he had surgery. He had some skin issues, some breakdown infections. 2 weeks ago, we went in. Thursday, 2 weeks ago, he got transferred to a long-term care facility, which is where he is right now. We just got back an hour ago from visiting him the last couple of days from his birthday. I'm in Cleveland, 3.5 hours away from where he is, but we've been getting in the car going to see him. I wanted to also say before I turn this over to Evan, every time he goes in the hospital, I get one of these. This is blessings. This was from the last time. It's called Willow Tree. These little ceramic, they're so beautiful. This is happiness. And I just have them around the house. They're sort of androgynous, like with the race or the sex sometimes. This is one of my first ones, and it was my daughter and my son that's what this represented when they first had the car accident. I count that I have about 8 of these. Every time he goes into the hospital, I get one. I think I have 6 and he has 2. And rituals count. Rituals are important. And I just realized, really, I sort of enjoy this. The one I got today is still out in the car. We went to yesterday because now he's in the second hospital. So I got this hospital visit is 2. What intentionality in everything you do, rituals that make you feel better with blessings and getting rid of old garbage, which we'll talk about at the end, is important. And so Evan is very clear through his life. He understands this in everything that he does. And so I'm just going to stop talking right now. And I am going to ask Evan to come on and tell us about kindness and gratitude.
What's up, good people?
You're
How
on
y'all
mute,
doing today?
or I can't hear you.
Oh, can y'all hear me? I don't think I'm on mute.
I can't hear you.
Can let me know down in the chat if y'all can hear me?
Hold on. Wait. I always got to make sure if it's me or not. Oh.
They say they can hear me.
They say they hear you. This is my problem. Well, hold on. Let me fix my problem because I want to hear you too. Say something.
Hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right. So thank you for such a great introduction. I do want to start by saying I am in the hospital right now. So somebody might pop in, you might hear somebody knock. I'm trying to shuffle them out as quick as possible. Also, this hospital is a little bit on the older side, and I've been trying to let some people know, but they got an intercom system here. They don't got pagers, walkie-talkies, nice little ear, none of that. They got intercom, so you might hear something come over the intercom too. But yes, I wanted to also start, and my mom mentioned how I was in a car crash about almost 11 years ago, and that was extremely hard because when that happened, um, I'm a far cry from where I am now in terms of ability, in terms of independence, in terms of even just my whole outlook on life. You know, when I woke up after my car crash, I couldn't move. I couldn't, and when I say I can't move, I couldn't move my arms. You know, I couldn't move my legs. I was laid up in the bed. I had a neck brace on. They had put me in traction and put screws in my head. I had a collapsed lung and pneumonia, so they had to put a trach in, and I couldn't eat, speak, drink, none of that. So I was just laid up, feeling like a vegetable. And I thought this is what life is going to be. And that to me was so depressing. You know, independence was one of the things that I value most, even at 15 years old. I was a pretty independent, pretty self-sufficient 15-year old, and to lose so much of that, to be in that bed for so long, you know, you can't see the light at the end of a tunnel sometimes. You don't even know you're in a tunnel. You just think you're in the dark. And that was the hardest thing for me. So I definitely was down, and it was definitely a hard time. But surely enough, one of the best things about that summer, and I always tell my parents this, is I saw everybody. I mean, everybody. We had people coming across the country. I had friends. I was like, hey, did so and so know? And they were like, I don't think they know yet. They tell them, and next thing you know, they popping up 3 days later. Like I saw every aunt, uncle, grandparent, cousin, family friend that we could possibly see multiple times that summer. And for me, my family and friends are some of the most important pieces in my life and the people in my life. So to have that, you know, that energy, that spirit around, it made every win that we got that much more special. I still remember the day I can move my right arm. There goes that intercom. Um, but you know, I remember being in bed and my dad said, try to move your arm. And I was like, hey, it don't work. No, it don't work. He said, just try. You know, we had a room full of people, and I think some people were coming in, some people were going out. And I'm like, you know, it don't work. He's like, just try. Whoosh, arm went straight in the air. And everybody in the room is shouting, and oh my God, it's just it, you know, it makes those wins all that more special. Having those people around, having that energy around, you know, in 3 months, I was up in a wheelchair. I had to trach out. I was able to speak again. I was able to eat again and drink, and I had the neck brace off. Out in 3 months, I was coming home. Now I still had a ton of issues, but I was so much better than where I was because we spend so much time when bad things happen and thinking this is it, this is everything, this is all. We're stuck here in the dark. You're not. You know, it's a tunnel. Life is motion. You know, we go forward through life. You're never stuck in one situation. You're never stuck in one place. And it took all of that to really help me get to see to a point where you realize that life isn't over. And even going through high school, it was hard trying to figure out what is life going to be for me. You know, you have this idea, especially at 15, what is everything, you know, going out with your friends, you're dating, proms and dances. And for me, it's like all that's different. I'm like, prom. I don't want to go to prom. You know, my mom and dad were like, no, you need to go. I'm like, for what? Like, gosh, for what? Like, to me, it just didn't, you know, those things didn't seem important to me. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how am I going to go to college? Like, how am I going to be able to get away? No offense, but how am I going to get away from my parents? Like, you know, I still want to do all the things in life that I had plans to do. And with the love of my family and the help of my family, and still having friends that, you know, we're still there, like, what? We your boys. Like, I was still getting in trouble with my same boys after the accident, because we were still out doing everything that we were trying to do. So it took a long time to get there. I'll tell you what, going to college, oh man, that was a takeoff moment when I realized that I could live independently away from my parents. I could live independently, take care of myself, even with all the health issues and problems that I might have, and was still dealing. I'm constantly dealing with issues, as you can tell, because I'm in the hospital right now. Um, but we're able to take those in stride. So it took all of that, and it took a lot of time to learn some of these lessons. So one of the things I've been, saying this year is that my mind is on kindness and my attitude is on gratitude. And I realized that in my life, some of the best things that ever happened to me, some of the best times I've ever had were bred out of kindness and gratitude. I was lucky enough to have family who had connections to the International Center for Spinal Cord Injury. I've gone out there multiple times, probably spent a collective 3 months between all my trips out there, doing therapy, learning different techniques, learning the tricks of the trade. What are the different tools and resources out there that makes my quality of life better? Those trips, the people I've met, I was able, they because of kindness and gratitude, because of their kindness, I was able to go to Aspen, Colorado. They called me up out of the blue one day in college and said, "Hey, you're such a great patient. We thought you'd be great for this trip. We're going out to Aspen, and it's going to be fully paid for. You just got to get there. You just got to get a flight for you and your caretaker. The whole thing's paid for." Went out there, like a 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel, whatever it was, and get to the everybody's supposed to be snowboarding and skiing all week, and they got adapted equipment. We get to the equipment shop. Um, Turns out I was 10 pounds too heavy and an inch too tall to be using any of the equipment. And I was like, man, okay, well, I guess, it's a bus. They looking at me like, what are you talking about? We got stuff. We gonna do something. I ended up going dog sledding on the side of a mountain that week. Now, nowhere in my plans and all my schemes and machinations of my life did I think I'd end up dog sledding on a mountain. That just was not in my plans. I got to have some amazing food, take all these amazing trips. I was in a hot spring, floating around in the outside with the snow. Which, if you know me, um, I'm a cold person. It's 80 degrees outside. I'm rocking a hoodie right now. I was outside in the snow in a hot spring, floating around. Oh my God, it was amazing. I suggested for anybody that was too great. So there were so many times when I look back, it's out of kindness and gratitude. There was I remember we had a fundraiser when I was still in the hospital. I couldn't even go to it. I couldn't get out of the hospital. And there was a fundraiser at the school where a lot of my friends came and all these things. And a man came up to my dad and he gave him $100. And he said, I was going to kill myself this morning. I was going to kill myself until I read the story about your son. And once I saw that, I knew I couldn't. So I had to come. So I just want to give this as part of the fundraiser. You don't know how far your kindness and gratitude reaches out and touches people. How can I, as a person, have a regret when I know that there are lives being saved, when that kindness and gratitude touches people and they're here today because of it? That type of, being in a hospital, he tells me that, I'm like, woo, okay. It puts a whole different spin when you sit in a hospital bed, like, hold up, I'm in a hospital bed, but this man's alive today because of that. it's a whole different beast when you start to realize these things, when you take a step back and you can see how God works, because that's how God works. You never know what it is that you do and how it affects another person. So having all these experiences, and even and it's not only those, but even more, I've had so many experiences that I just can't um even list them all. I see my mom talking about the time I went ziplining. I went out. I joined a fraternity when I was in college, and we had a fraternity conference. And I had one of the guys from corporate come who I met, and we had a great time when he came out to the chapter. And he was like, "Yeah, we're going to this camp out in Indiana that specializes in children with disabilities." So I get out to this camp, and I'm like, "Man, there's these buttons for doors everywhere. There's a ramp down into the pool. We're out in the woods and cabins and stuff, but everything was fully handicap accessible." And he said, "Come on now, man. We're not gonna have a conference where you just can't do nothing. We chose this place because you're coming. We knew you were coming. We chose this place for that reason. That's off of kindness. You can't get that being in your room, being a sourpuss. You can't get that being angry or depressed or off to yourself. You only get that through kindness and gratitude, by connecting with other people through kindness and gratitude." And in that same trip, I went ziplining, which was crazy. So they had to put me in this whole little contraption, strap me in all nice and snug and whatnot. And they rolled me down this hill with me and 20 brothers from chapters from all around the world and all this. We get to this giant tower. Tower's 20, 30 feet tall, and that's at the top is a zip line. They hooked me up to a pulley system, and all 20 of my brothers were there heaving and hoeing and getting me all the way up to the top of the tower so that I can zip line all the way down through these woods. You can't get that being off on your own. You can't get that without connecting with people through kindness and gratitude. So, that's why I always say my mind is on kindness. My mind is on kindness. My attitude is on gratitude, because in any moment, at any instance, you never know how that's going to affect where you're at or what you're doing. Even in this hospital stay, they had me in the smallest room up in this joint. All right, cramped. I got two different. I got a wheelchair, a shower chair. I got too many family and friends coming through, bags of stuff. Nurses were bumping around, just trying to take care of me. They were out here fighting to get me a bigger room. Now I'm pleased to say this room is almost too big for me. I'm feeling like a VIP over here. All right, so it's definitely advantageous to you in your own life to continue on with this kindness and gratitude. And let me see, I got my notes. I was gonna say something else. Part of that also comes from awareness and your perception. You have to realize that in life, it's not a matter of if bad things are gonna happen. It's a matter of when. You never know when you're gonna scratch your car. You never gonna know when you get in a car crash. You never know when someone's gonna die. You never know when someone's gonna get sick. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. And you have to be aware of that. Now, how you respond to those things is your choice. That's completely your choice.
Tie to the nursing station, please. Tie to the
This
nursing
intercom
station.
thing cracks me up every time. When when you throw something up in the air, it's coming back down. You're not surprised by that. You know how to react to that. You know what's coming. It's the same thing with bad. You know that at some point some bad things are going to happen. How are you going to react to that? Are you going to let that keep you down? Are you going to let that keep you from all the blessings that you might have ahead of you? You can't. I know I went to the hospital one time to do a test for a surgery. It was the same hospital I was in after my accident, Cincinnati Children's. And I remember some of the old PTs and OTs and doctors I had were coming in just to see me say hey, and they were like, man, you still smiling, you still happy, you still, I was like, yeah. They said there's a girl down the hall who's paraplegic and I'm quadriplegic. And I've been letting people know this week, respect my quad status because they keep telling people I'm paraplegic and they try to hand me things. My hands don't work like that. But there was a girl down the hall who was paraplegic, and they said she's so depressed. She don't ever want to do nothing. She's all upset and mad. And my mom was like, man, if he was paraplegic, I wouldn't see him. He'd be out. He'd be rolling everywhere. I said, you're damn right, because your circumstances don't stop you from anything. I might not be able to get up a pair of stairs, but hey, that hasn't stopped me from going to places where, we got some ramps. I keep ramps in the car. Might not be able to get up the steps, but I can get up this ramp. Shoot, I've been places where people taking me out of my chair and carried me up full flights of steps and then brought my chair up too.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah, I can't tell them stories too much.
I learn more than I even want to know sometimes. Every time we have this conversation. Evan, you're amazing and you're incredible. So I have to ask you some questions. And, I've been wanting to get in like double dutch because I'm your ride or die. So I've been doing this with you for a minute. This is our 5th wellness spiritual journey together. Evan speaks on this intention every time. And it's always great. We almost should make it the first session instead of near the end. But at this point, we want to really make sure that everyone is practicing what we're talking about. And Evan is a pure, wonderful example of if he can do it, everyone can do it. So Evan, let me ask you, again, he didn't tell me this how cool we are because he knows what I don't want to know. Like when he went ziplining, he sent me the video afterwards and told me about it. This thing where people are carrying him in and out the house in the wheelchair. That wheelchair is 300 pounds. And then his lifeline and moving around. And he's messing around, having people carry him. See, you know what? You're right. You're independent. It's your life. As your wheelchair, them your legs. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna give you a look. So tell us about, so you mentioned the zip lining, the dog sledding, these amazing experiences that you've had. You also mentioned I want you to tell a story about Sheila in the hospital when she was like, why are you and your family always praying and thanking God? And you're paralyzed. Like, y'all crazy. And hold up, she's saying this to a 15-year-old boy. So, as a mother.
Yeah, I remember that.
Uplifted. I was a little salty about that.
Yeah, you were mad about that one after. So, yeah, she asked me, I'm still laying in a hospital bed. I think I was speaking at this point and everything. And she asked me, like, how do you still believe in God? Like, how do your family still pray? And I was like, well, I could be dead. I mean, like, there are alternatives here that are far worse. I mean, I've met other people in wheelchairs who are not nearly as blessed or fortunate as me in terms of ability. I can't use my hands and I can't walk, but I know people who got to drive with a straw in their mouth because they can't move their arms. I'm saying, like, I'm able to live independently. I'm here. I'm talking. At that time, I'm still getting better every day. Like this is who knows what God has planned for me, but it's I'm.
And that was the most amazing thing. At 15, he was like, who knows what God has planned? Who can say? Like the horse parable. Who can say? God, not to be cliche-ish, God works in mysterious ways. He can't even understand all this. But he did not. He had his moments at the beginning, which who wouldn't, But all that support and stuff. So I would say, well, Evan, we need to. I'm always having bright ideas and inventions and whatnot. So when he got better and he's all looking good and healthy and stuff, I was like, we need to invent like a vacuum cleaner. You can roll around and, at least do the floors and stuff. He was like, Mom, no. That chores, that's one of the good pluses of this. I don't have to do chores.
Yeah. I don't gotta wash no more dishes. I don't gotta sweep nothing. I don't gotta vacuum. Hey, bruh, you just vacuum this up. Come on. I'm not doing it.
He's like, there's some benefits. I get to see family all the time. I don't do no chores.
That good parking. I mean, come on now. you know.
I was like, yeah, his parking when I drive him around and get to parking handicaps crazy. I know, y'all. We be finding the blessings in everything.
And one of the things I want to say is, you know, this is one of the things that I always try to hold on to is that it's not it. This intercom just keeps cracking me up. It's simple. It's not easy, and a lot of times we mix those two. We use those words interchangeably, and they're not the same thing. You know, it to have something tragic happen, to have something bad happen, it's a difficult thing. It's hard. It's there's all the emotions. There's a new set of circumstances you got to deal with. You got to talk to doctors. You got to talk to nurses. You got to coordinate these people because they're not. You're the star of your own universe. You're not the star of their universe. So you got to make sure they're on it to make sure things are happening. This isn't easy to deal with tragedy. It isn't easy to deal with these things, but it is simple. The steps to deal with it are simple, but it does take that discipline. It does take that awareness, that perception. You know, one of the things I talk about is the 5 stages of grief. I got them written down here because I always miss one of them. But you know, the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Now, if you know what those stages are of grief, if you can recognize them when you're going through them, then you can get to that acceptance a little bit faster. So when they told me I was going to be in the hospital for 6 weeks, mom was there trying to cheer me up, and I'm sitting there looking at her like this. I ain't got no confidence in some of these people. 6 weeks. Now, she came back, you know.
He said, I have 0% confidence in their ability to whatever. I said, see, you're going to get what you're given. If we got to change this attitude. I know it looks a little bleak, but you can participate in the bleakness or you can participate in the healing. So we consciously, I'm like, come on, Evan, play the game with me. This is the game of life. This is life experience. He was like.
Now she comes back 2 days later and I'm happy and I'm feeling a lot better. And I'm like, listen, hey, you got to feel your feels. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get mad. You're going to get angry. You're going to get depressed. You're going to be in denial. You're going to be bargaining. Oh, man, if I had done this, then this wouldn't have happened. No, this can't be. Like I can't believe it. You got to feel that. You have to go through those emotions. But if you recognize these are the stages of grief, if you are aware of some of these things, it can help you move faster through these processes and get to acceptance. And when you get to acceptance, you're able to deal with the reality of the situation and even smile through it. Since I've been in this hospital, I've laughed plenty of times. I've smiled plenty of times. I've had nurses coming in and having conversations and cracking up. I can have a good time in this hospital. I've accepted the situation that is. I went through the bargaining stage. I went through all that. I've been through that. We got through that real quick. Don't need to spend a whole lot of time being depressed. I don't need to spend a whole lot of time being angry. Those emotions, while they might be, anger might be good for fuel in terms of, maybe getting you to get up and do something, but it's not a very productive emotion. It's not a very productive source to pull from. So let's get past all of that and let's get to the acceptance. Yo, I've been cracking up on these nurses all week about this intercom. I got to tell y'all, I'm writing a review.
About the intercom. Talk about this antiquated system there.
So I was at one hospital, a week or two ago. Man, they had the earpieces. They were hooked up like the Secret Service. When it was the issue, the nurse was alerted, or the CNA was alerted about the issue. So and so needs this. I didn't have to know it. They knew it. I get to this hospital, man. I gotta hear about every Tom, Dick, and Harry problem that comes through up in this joint. And here's the joke. And here's the trick. They don't actually tell you the problem. They just tell you there is a problem. You know. So whether you are in pain, or you fell out the bed, or you just need the remote, you say, "Hey, I need some help. This is what it is." They come over the intercom. Assistance to room 3. Assistance to room 6. Now, who that gonna help? I was in here one morning, and the IV, which had to be handcrafted by the devil, was blaring in my ear for 20 minutes. And I'm not talking no little beep, beep, beep. I'm talking like a fire alarm. Like, all up in my waking up to this in the. It's like, imagine your alarm clock goes off and you can't turn it off, and you still trying to sleep for another 30 minutes. Like, come on now. And then when I asked somebody to come in, they sent in the CNA who couldn't turn off the IV or stop the IV or nothing. She just pulled the IV closer to me and said, "Hey, it hit this button every time it goes off, and it'll silence it for about 30 seconds." It was like, what are we doing here? So I've been this intercom system, but I've accepted it at this point. So
you have very graciously, and I'm glad you're in a bigger room because that room was too tiny. So even still, when we went into that room, when he got into the room before I even saw it, I said, "Well, ask him for a bigger room. Ask him for a bigger room." He said, "I don't want to be that guy. What if someone more critical than me needs it?" And I was like, "Oh, look at you." Well, I would still be asking, because if someone more critical needs it, they're gonna move you out, you know. But that's why I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. But he was like, "I don't know." But suddenly, that room was tiny, and even the nurses and doctors were saying, "Yeah, this room's too small." They couldn't even operate in that. I mean, imagine you at least need the width length of a wheelchair on either side to get out of the bed into the chair. It barely had that. It was incredible. It was just incredible. So we find that with some time and some practice and some patience, when you continue in this, it always works out. Like I said, if I count my figurines, that's 8, but I know he's been in hospital more than 8 times, because in 2019, before COVID, he was in like 4 or 5 times. I was up and down the road because of these there's recurring issues. There's issues when you can't move with your skin. There's issues with your organs. It's also your organs are sluggish. Coughing, I give him cough assist. It's hard. The diaphragm isn't as strong, you know, like he can't cough. Then we're worried about pneumonia, you know, and so it's like a domino effect. It's always something. So I just love this talk, and it's important for everyone here because Evan makes it look easy. He's my right-hand man behind the scenes. We do happy hour for my patrons on Patreon. He's always, and then he's moving his arm so people don't even know he can't use his hand. I'm guilty too when I'm with him and he wants something and I turn around and I'm like, "Here." And he's like, you know, he can't grab it. And I have to remember, oh yeah, he can't grab it. Or I was like, he always has a bag with like catheters and stuff in it, and wallet and medicine on the back of his wheelchair. And I was like, "You don't have any paper in here?" Paper. I needed a paper and a pen to write something down. I was like, "You don't have any paper?" And he was like, "Mom, I don't write." That is so simple, but it's so, because you don't even realize you're thinking of him like what we do and everything else. And then you get around, it's like, "Oh, I guess you don't, you know." Okay, smarty pants. You have to have all that attitude when you said it.
I mean, you gotta roll with the jokes. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is, sometimes I make people just slightly uncomfortable with the jokes, because for me, this is my everyday. If I'm not gonna laugh about it, I'm gonna cry about it. So I love a good wheelchair joke. If you got a good wheelchair joke, you slide one by me. But there was one time, me and mom was in town and we went to the doctor, and I think it was around Christmas time or something, or maybe it was after Christmas or something like that. And a man was there and he said, "Man, I really like those shoes you got right there. Those are clean. I like those." He said, "You get those for Christmas?" And I was like, "Oh, no, these? I've had these for years. I just don't walk, so they don't get dirty really that often." He was like, "No, don't do that to me. No, man. Oh, I was like, oh, my bad. I was just being,
Oh, that was funny. That's and Evan will do the like, yeah, mom, yeah, I'm giving you a thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. That's what it is.
So we can. Hey, it's the intention behind it out of love and kindness. So they're like, you foolish Tanya, I can't deal with y'all. But we know what's in love, and I'm right there with them. I mean, I used to leave notes on people's car who parked in handicapped spots without a handicap placard, or we're parking them lines with the diagonal. But that's for people in a wheelchair like Evan to get out and roll out his ramp. If y'all are doing that, please stop. Please stop it. There's actual handicapped people that need that space. So people are like, well, I was just sitting here. I was just standing here. Well, how would the handicapped person who needs the space be able to pull in if you're standing there? And so I used to use, when he did have paper in his book bag in high school, I would get some paper and would write a note and put it on the windshield. Didn't I? How many times?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, after 11 years, I'm jaded. I have handles on the back of my wheelchair, and sometimes if I think I can squeeze, I am not concerned about the status of your car after I try squeezing by it, because you shouldn't park so close. It says give me 6 feet, like it says give me 8 feet, and if you get scratched,
so this
I got to get in my car.
A public service announcement that you just can't know what disabilities people have, what they're going through. Evan was in the hospital 4 or 5 times in 2019. We thank God that in 2020 with COVID, he didn't have anything. And here we are in 2021. So it held off until he could be comfortable in the hospital room, for more or less.
Oh, I want to tell y'all one more story. I don't know if I told Mom about this one. I went on a cruise back in.
He went on a cruise.
2016, 2015, went on a cruise with my dad's side of the family, had my friend with me. I had one of my boys with me from college. And we were 20, maybe. I don't think I was even allowed to drink yet. So we were shutting down that club every night though. We was and when you're in a wheelchair, that club love is different. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a pretty woman. I get a lot of drinks.
Oh God, help me. Okay, we're gonna move to the Q&A. Go ahead. What's your point?
It was interesting. I'm used to going to clubs and just crazy things happening to me, because I don't think people are used to people with disabilities who go out and have a genuinely good time because most people hide their traumas, their trials and tribulations, whatever it is. You can't see it on the surface, but I got to wear mine wherever I go. So when you can see somebody in the face of whatever they're going through, have a good time, have fun, laugh, and all these kind of things, I think it brings out a different type of joy. So when we was on this cruise, it somehow was just 10x from when I regularly go out. And in that 1 week that I was there, the number of people who would just come up to me. There was one lady came up to me, just like, oh my God, it's so great to just see you living your life. I just want to tell you how happy it makes me. And this is the best thing ever. Grabbed me by the face, gave me a giant old kiss, let the whole lipstick print on the forehead, and didn't see her ever again. I had my boy looking at me like, do you know her? I was like, bro, I got on this ship with you. You know I don't know her. Like, what? Flabbergasted by some of these.
Evan it is funny. He tells me these stories. I haven't totally seen it in person, but I can imagine it. People just give him stuff or buy his drinks that just want to buy his, or there's stories I don't even want to know. I've heard from a distance in the other room about the girls he dances with in his wheelchair. I don't even want to know. We're not even going to talk about that, y'all. So he's okay, but I do want to say that he's doing a great job, but there's things you just can't see and know that he does all the time. So one big thing, and then I want to open it up for questions, and so because I really want other people to just start doing and being this in their own life. So Evan is a great expression. I'm super proud of him. He's my right-hand man. He supports me almost more than anybody else. and I support him, so it's reciprocal. And what? Even when I'm getting on his nerve, even when I'm being a mama. But there's things like so cathing himself, like he couldn't be away from me or his dad for more than a few hours because we would have to cath him. He had to use the bathroom. And if he didn't use the bathroom, his blood pressure would go sky high. It was a very dangerous situation. He decided to have a surgery, which made it easier and very different, unconventional for how he can go to the bathroom. So now we can cath himself as a quadriplegic. So these are some amazing, amazing things he's done to increase. So, but the whole point, y'all, kindness, gratitude, and healing. We want to heal ourselves. We want to heal our brothers and sisters, our parents. And the superhighway to it is kindness and gratitude. This gratitude that he has for life and the way he treats other people, I have no doubt. I am sure, I am convinced, I am convicted that this is why he gets to be happy and smile and have in between the hard times that he just said, which is true, they will happen. We already know. It's how you deal with them. We don't want to keep going to the hospital, but we would be stupid to act like this was going to be our last hospital visit. That's not even realistic. Come on. We just don't.
I tell them every time I get here, I was like, I do this. They be like, wow, you're teaching me stuff. I'm like, I do this. This is my day in and my day out. Yeah, this hospital thing ain't new to me.
And as long as he leaves me on his HIPAA, because they were slacking at first, and I was like, they were started calling me every day. We just want to let you know that Evan's doing good. He did every day after we had.
Well, that's because she went mama bear on him. She
remember last weekend.
She tore into him. She'll let him know. Like,
but I did it with respect and kindness. Because now they're like, hi, he's doing great. And we just wanted you to know. And when I left, I said, are you going to see Evan? No, but I can. Do you need anything? When I was leaving out. So I'm like, hey, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. It doesn't mean you have to be unkind. You just have to be heard. I'm present and aware. I understand that people's priorities can get mixed up. Not that they're a bad person, like they're not taking care of you the way I want them to, because they got 20 other patients. But I'm going to be the louder voice if I can be. I am the advocate and the mother, the whatever, that's going to make sure that we at least get heard. Because I told him, I said, you guys wanted to give him a certain size catheter. He said he has a 12, they wanted to give him 15. He said, no, you don't give a person who wears a size 8 shoe, you don't give them a size 11 shoe, do you? He had to tell them that. So when they came and called me, I was like, he's not being heard. I need you to trust that he's been in this position for almost 11 years. He knows what he's talking about. So let's do that. So anyway, Evan, thank you. I just love. You know, I said, even if he wasn't my son, I'd still like him as a person.
I would hope so.
Well, hey, everybody don't like. I mean, you should love them, but you don't have to want to be in their presence all the time. So we want to open it up for questions for me or Evan, comments, all of that. And I want to say, you guys, before we open it up, and I'm going to go off for a minute, and Evan, so hopefully the first questions can be for you, is that we are at the end, like next week will be our last week on sleep and rest. I would love for you guys to stay with me and become a part of the Patreon community, which many of you are on. And when you do that, then these types of journeys, they're just included in what you do. But so in a monthly way, so we can stay steeped in this conversation and continue to be encouragers of one another. So through video, blogs, posts. Sometimes we just do things on the side to get together. So it's a monthly subscription. It's called Patreon, patreon.com/remarkable wellness. I know we'll get in the chat. So many people, well, you've heard me talk about it, do this. As we're ending this, I want to be sure to keep putting it out there so we can stay in touch and build this community. Because this is what we do. We're living life. We're having fun. We're transforming and growing with each conversation, with each experience. And so I'm just, I say melancholy. I like that word. I know what it's like to be melancholy, but not in a depressed way. I think melancholy means you can be You can feel your feelings, as Evan says. You can feel your feelings about, a friend in the hospital, a son in the hospital, life going on. You can feel that and not be devastated by it, and continue to try to be in the light and to do the things to bring healing to the other person. So Evan's been a great example. And then now my friend, my sword, she's just, so now I'm going to use all these principles. I want all of us to be using these principles to send healing to Evan, to Kelly, to everyone on this call who's in need of it, to everyone in the world who's in need of it, because now we have the tools, we have the power. Today is the day. Kindness and gratitude is that elixir. It's the highway that the energy, that the communication goes through. So you want good things back, you put good things out. It comes back. You want good healing, be kind to someone, and that will be healing for you. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And that's the method that we've been using for at least these 11 years. And I'm telling you, it works when you utilize it. So, Evan, I'm gonna go off. You take some questions.
All right. Looks like we got one right here. Hey.
It's Dewey. Is it me?
Yep.
Hey, first of all, Evan, thank you for sharing your testimony. I always enjoy your story. It's always so inspiring and inspirational for me. I'm gonna steal a couple things from you. One is you're the star of your own universe. You're not the star of their universe. I'm stealing that one. I'm finding that out every day now. And then the other is handcrafted by the devil. I'm finding out about that too. So I'm stealing those. But real quick, I just wanted to share something. I started my 10-day wellness journey a week or so late. I started it this week. And ironically, Evan was talking about how his fraternity brother supported him. And this week happens to be Senior Kappa week. And so my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, is Senior Kappa week. So I'm doing my wellness journey and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to call one old Kappa every day to get my kindness and gratitude points for my wellness journey. And the funny thing about that is I called at least one older brother every day, and each one of those guys actually blessed me. When I was doing that to reach out and bless them with a surprise phone call, but every one of them actually blessed me more so than I'm sure than my phone call to them. And one in particular, and this kind of goes back to what both Tanya and Evan talked about. He's 74 years old. He said he and his wife are headed to Cabo for 2 weeks next week. He said, "Man, I'm glad you called this week because I'm going to be in Cabo for 2 weeks starting next week." And I asked him, you have any concerns about COVID and all of that? And he said, well, we're both vaccinated. He's checked with the resort about their protocols. You actually have to get tested 3 days before you return to the U.S. They give you the results right there at the resort, blah, blah, blah. And he went on to say, he said, Dewey, I'm 74. I don't know how many good years I have left to be active because he still golfs and cycles and all that stuff. He said, so I'm enjoying every day that I'm here and I'm able to. And he said, Dewey, I encourage you to not wait until you're 74 to start enjoying every day today. And it just kind of ties back into the things that we've been talking about here around a number of things: kindness and gratitude, reciprocity, enjoying every moment and every day and appreciating every moment that you have here. So I just want to share that with the group.
Absolutely. And that's how it works. Even being in this hospital, there have been a couple times where I was like, let me just call somebody that I haven't talked to. Let me call an aunt. Let me call a uncle. Let me call a cousin. And just those conversations, even when you can hear it in their voice when they perk up. When somebody you love perks up, you gonna perk up. Like it's almost selfish sometimes when you're just like, let me bless somebody just to feel good, and it really does come back. So I'm glad to hear that you had that too.
Absolutely.
Ollie? think you're on mute.
Am I there?
Yep, we hear you.
Hi. Good morning, King. Thank you again. You are always uplifting and inspiring. I appreciate you. You brought to mind something that I heard recently that I thought I would share. A friend did something terrible. She parked in a handicap space. And when she came out of that little 5 minute, it won't matter, 25 minutes later, trip, run in, use the space, there was a card on her car and it read, "You wouldn't want to be in my place, so please don't park in my space." She'll never park in the handicap zone again. I just thought I'd share that. Thank you, Evan.
Absolutely, thank you. That's funny because it reminds me of I didn't even watch Seinfeld, but there's an episode of Seinfeld where they park in the handicap space, and there's a handicapped person who had to park at the bottom of the hill of the parking lot. And I think he gets up to the top of the hill, and then something happens, and he's rolling back and getting an accident. So when they come out, there's all these emergency vehicles, and they're like, "Ooh," and they gotta get out of there. I was like, that's what it always makes me think of.
I have to tell a funny story too. So Evan has some fun sometimes, like he does enjoy the handicap parking spaces, so he can park closer instead of walking, like we said last week. So that's, I don't know, that's a plus. I don't know, but he did. There's a video, Evan. You're gonna have to share it. Put it in the wellness journey group on Facebook anyway, where he rolled, this was early on after the accident, he rolled through the drive-through of a restaurant, wheelchair. Again, one of those things I didn't see till afterwards. I thought he'd take a little advantage of the drive-through situation with his wheelchair, but he finds the humor.
Yeah, they had a sign that said you can't walk through the drive-through, like you can't be on foot. And I was like,
I'm not on foot.
So now the tricky part was there's actually a sensor in those drive-throughs that you drive over to let them know that you've pulled up to the box to talk. My wheelchair wasn't heavy enough, so we had to have a car behind us drive up and go on a sensor, and then I could order. Again, kindness and gratitude of others, so that I can get through the drive-through. But Nyla.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I was like, I saw the post on Facebook and I was like, look at my little Leo. I forgot it was his birthday. You know, you like to hold that over me and Misha's head that you're so older than us. Even though
y'all youngins, you'll get there. You'll get there.
I'm so happy to see you. When your mom texted me and I was like, I gotta check it out. And you cracked me up about that wheelchair story. I know you. It was you, bro. But honestly, the whole journey of gratitude and healness and also just being present in your life, I always admire that about you the most, because despite whatever you've gone through, I've always seen you be the most uplifting and funny person to be around. And I always would tell people, like, even people I know, I was like, I don't know how he does it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I could see myself constantly trying to pull me out of that rut, but for you, you just wear it very easily. And, you know, I admire that about you, love that so much. So the healness and wellness journey and gratitude, you are walking in true testimony to that, and never lose it. And I feel like you won't. You keep that and the humor attached.
I tell people, you know, I'm blessed in the sense that even before the accident, I am like, I don't want to say allergic to negativity, but I just don't know how to hold on to it. Like,
yeah,
I cannot wake up mad about something yesterday. I don't know how to do it. It's a new day. I'm waking up, I'm getting out of bed, I'm doing something new today. So it's one of those things that I've always been able to have, that I think has definitely helped me and has been 10x through just all the experiences I've had since the accident. So,
and honestly, sis, what you said before about like you can either choose to be in mad about it, or you know, you can just live your life, and you really don't. At some point, you don't have a choice, because it's like, you know, wasting time consistently being in this place of, oh, woe is me, is going to do nothing but just life is gonna go on. So I mean, seriously, life goes on. So you're gonna have to have your time, but at the same time, like really just be grateful and present that you have a life to live, you have memories to make, and time in this realm to connect with other people and share your truth. So
absolutely.
yes, love you, Evan. I miss you so much, man.
We gonna get together soon. When I get out of here, we're gonna do
My
something.
birthday's coming up, so make sure you don't forget it. I'm sorry. So the 30th. Honestly, I don't have anything planned, so we'll see. But
Hey, we're gonna do something.
Yes. All right, love you.
Love you too.
Okay.
Claude.
Hello, how are you doing there? Eric, am I correct?
Evan.
Evan, I do apologize. Let me introduce myself. I am a friend of your mother's friend. And that person, her name is going to be Alisa. What?
Y'all not that close yet. You don't know her name. Yeah.
Listen, hold on. It's like day 5. She got me drinking a Heineken. This is crazy. But hold on, I want to get somewhere. I was on Zoom last night and I had to get off. I was actually at work, and I jumped on and I jumped off. And I do apologize that, but here we are again. She's in the car with me right now, and we're just actually leaving another funeral. But I wanted to piggyback on something about the park. I am a retired police officer, 26 years down here in Florida, okay? I've never been a big fan of writing tickets. I never really wrote a lot of tickets at all. But what I would do, if I was like riding through the parking lot of a Walgreens, and if I saw a car that was parked and it didn't have a handicap, I was writing a ticket. And it's so funny, 9 times out of 10 times as I was writing, the owner would come out, they then would try to move the car.
Oh, wow.
I was that officer. I'm not backing up off this ticket. I'm going to write you this $250 ticket because I hate to see people abusing that. Your story has been shared with me, and such a tragic story, but the energy that you have behind it is just amazing. Your spirit to overcome what you've been through, that is so inspiring. And this Zoom thing is kind of new to me, but I want to thank you guys for inviting me into your role. I look forward to doing this again.
And
Absolutely. Thank you.
When you said you're allergic to
Negative energy.
Negative energy. Like, he resonated with that immediately. And I was like, oh my, it was like amazing to me that you said that. Like, I don't even know what that feels like, but I'm gonna try to get there because now I know it's possible.
I mean, like everything else, it's like I said, it's simple. It's not easy. The steps are 1, 2, 3. It's you know, it's not. But to really work through those things, you know, if even when we talk about things like depression, are you eating right? Are you getting water? Are you exercising? Are you trying to reach out? These are not things that are difficult to do by any means, but when you feel that depression, it's hard to get yourself out of bed. It's hard to do all these things. You know, it's simple. It's not easy. You know, so it is a process, and it is something that you learn. But over time, once you start doing it more and more and more, it becomes easier to let some things just slide right off your back. You're just like, I'm not even going to give this the energy that I'm not going to sit here and pout about it. I don't have the time to give this any type of energy. I'm on to the next.
That's just amazing. You know, I only met you, I think.
Hello, TK.
Hey.
I only met you twice. Well, maybe once. Somehow your sister and I kind of clicked when you came to Orlando. And she was like attached to my hip. And I just remember you playing and just being kind of a, you know, I don't know, just the kid is like, okay, we're here, we're doing whatever. And I would say you're the same. It's great energy. I enjoy your stories. I hadn't heard those before. About the sledding and oh my gosh, hot springs and all that. I haven't done either. But you know what? I'm about to put them on my bucket list.
See what I'm saying?
Definitely do it. Definitely do.
That's another thing I need y'all to go, because look, we're already, I can't believe we're at time. It's 2:29. That's my number, right? My birthday.
Yeah.
See, you have to start living your life. I want you to eat. I want everyone to stop even saying bucket list. Do today what is meant to do today. Like, start planning it, not saying it's something out in the future. It's disingenuous to think you're going to live forever. We're in a new space now. We're living today. We're creating our future today. We're visioning it. We're planning it. We're whatever. So that's right. If there's things you want to do that's creative, outrageous, whatever, do it now. Just do it, do it, do it. Because that's what this is about.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Thank you guys.
Love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're at the time, y'all. So please start considering joining the Patreon, because we do this year round, all time, all day. This is how we're living life. We want to we did not do a mini meditation, so let's do one now. Just for this, just a real quick one. Just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths in, if you can. You're not driving. 3 deep breaths in and out. And we just see and feel this beautiful bright light. That is God. That is the spirit within all of us. We have a sense of gratitude today. And we want to ride this gratitude as high as it will lift us. And thank you, God. And thank you to one another. This group, these people, these insights that have been shared today, so that we receive these healings and we put them back out on Evan, on Kelly, on everyone on this call who's in need, and all of our loved ones, and actually everyone in the world, that we have the power. We know now these tools, these spiritual tools, this technology, we are activating in our life today. Breathe that in and out. Just breathe in the blessings of the day. In this beautiful spirit that is Evan that shared with us today. And so it is. And we just sort of come back together. And we've got some links in the, see, Evan, that man, he's just like a multitasker. I don't know if he was meditating or typing. We got some links in the chat to join Remarkable Wellness. Go to the website, because we want to keep this going. And so so next Saturday is our last session of this journey, but it's just the beginning of the bigger journey. Evan, I love you, love you, love you. You might
Love you too.
You might be my favorite person. Today you are. Today you are.
I've heard of that a time or two.
And we thank and bless all of you for your words, your participation. We didn't get to your synchronicities today, but next week, because we're going to be wrapping all this goodness and deliciousness up, we want to hear, because I know we've transformed, him being in the hospital during our 10 days. Can't nothing get us down. I mean, we got to feel our feelings for a minute, and we cry, but we come right back to all things are possible. This law of attraction. Please do something kind for someone today. Write a letter and put it in the mail. Write it today and put it in the mail on Monday. I don't care. But do the kindness today, because the intention behind what you do matters. You matter. Everything that you do matters. You can participate in your own healing, your unfolding, and you can participate in that for others. So I'm taking right now, we're appreciating all this energy. We're putting it on Evan. He's going to be home. We're putting it on everyone on this call. We're putting it on Kelly, people who could not be here today. And we know that the healing is happening because we're working in the higher realm. We're not who we used to be. We're brand new. So join the Patreon. Stay with us forever. We'll see you next Saturday. We love you. And we're sending healing. We want to also send healing, I'm sorry, to the vet who made it this week onto the call, who also healing. We did a meditation for her and Evan last week as well. So whatever we know, it doesn't even matter when we know or we don't know, still the healing goes out and we receive it back. So we're putting that out for the vet as well and anyone else on this call. Please, please, please. We love you. Until next week, y'all, and good luck on those who are still doing the 10 days. But kindness, be kind today. Evan, anything?
I'm still your line. Love and light.
Love and light.